Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Tabletop Games. I'm of course Mike, and this is a overview on how to play for Mike's Epic Skirmish Tales, written by me and my brother Dave. The overview of this is a easy to use rule set with nuance added through character and weapon traits. We utilize the D6. Regular D6 dice. You can increase your character stats, learn new traits, hire new characters. They can die, be removed forever. It is miniature agnostic, but we will be having our own miniature line. We'll also have map packs coming out, things like that. You have 3 different campaigns you can play through. First is the Rival, where you would choose to go after, we have G.I. Joes and the Terradrome in the background. We're going to use those as proxies. So say we're going to do a G.I. Joe type thing, your Rival will be Cover Commander if we're the Joes, which is who we have out. You have finding an item, so like if you wanted to find the missing nuclear weapon before the bad guys do. And you have Resource Campaign, where you have to just gather so much resource points, which is the currency and also how you hire, heal, buy weapons, items, and recruit new people, and also increase your stats and traits. The game is broken down into 3 phases. First one is downtime. It's where you can hire new characters, buy new equipment, do all that, do all the stuff like that. Second is the mission itself. This is where you roll to find out what kind of mission you're playing, how many enemies there are, what type of enemies there are. And third is the resolution phase, where you roll for your loot, determine the fate of anybody who got knocked out in combat, and yeah, then you just go back to downtime phase. You also, give yourself your rewards for whatever. The game is solo or co-op. You can fight each other if you want to each build a group and roll up the mission and everything, and just be you against your buddy or whatever. But it is meant to be played solo or cooperatively. The turn sequence, all the player characters take their actions. Each character gets 2 actions. Each enemy also gets 2 actions, but that's neither here nor there for what we're doing. Combat, we'll go over real quick. So we have Lieutenant Falcon here. He'll be shooting at barbecue. If he's using a basic pistol, which is 1d6 quality, and we'll say he's a marksman. And here is the items. Don't know how well that's going to show up. Basic pistols at the top. Quality 1's how many extra dice you get to roll. Damage, how much damage it does when it hits. Range of 9 inches. You can dual wield it, and it costs $15. We'll get to items when we get to that part of the book. We'll say he's a marksman, so he gets to roll 3 dice, 2 for being a marksman, 1 for the quality of the weapon. All successes are 4, 5s, and 6s. All fails are 1, 2, and 3. Fail on an attack would be a miss. So we'll roll. He got 2 successes. In range combat, he can only defend. We'll say he has a defend of, well, say 3. So he has 2 successes. He's rolling defense. He's in the open, so nothing there. He got 2 successes, so he'd miss. If he would have gotten 1 success, he'd have 1 success, would be 2 damage, plus this extra success would be 3 damage inflicted on barbecue. Melee combat works the exact same way, except, we'll just say he has a knife, which is quality 1, damage 1. They both have knives. In melee, Falcon's attacking barbecue. Barbecue can choose to fight back or defend. So in this case, we're going to have him fight back. So Falcon rolls 1 success with the 6. Barbecue rolls 2 successes with the 4 and the 5. So he would take 1 damage from the knife, 1 damage from the extra success, and be pushed back 1 inch. The knife would also have bleed and stuff like that, but we'll get to that when we get to the items. I just lost that dice and just kicked my camera. That's cool. That dice is underneath the table. That's fine. Line of sight, simple. You can see him if we put that in between them. You can't see him out of line of sight. Cover. Use the dice as a barricade. He's now in cover, so if he's being attacked by range, he gets one extra defense dice to try to, not get hit. If they're both like this, they can fight over top of it. The defending character would still get cover for the melee attack. Elevated positions, so let's say this is 3 inches up, which it may or may not be, and he's shooting at him in cover, or he's just going to fall over. It is a bag of dice, so that would negate the cover because he's 3 inches above him. If he hits him with like a club or something, it can knock him prone. While prone, the attacker gains another attack dice against you shooting or in melee, so they get, extra rolls. If you like that though, and I'm trying to shoot at him, he's not able to be seen, so you can actually go prone to hide from snipers or people with, ranged weapons. Move that out the way. You can fall or be thrown up to 3 inches, and if you hit that, it does extra damage. If you fall off of an object, like say that's what, 6 inches, he falls off or gets thrown off, that's damage. More than 3 inches, they suffer 3 attack dice of damage. Character takes 2 attack dice if thrown into another vehicle or wall, obstacle, whatever. If thrown into another character, like he's throwing Falcon into him, they each take 1 dice. No defense dice are rolled, so nothing happened, but whatever, like that would be 1. Falcon got hit for 1, he got hit for 1 just because they got thrown at each other, and they were placed in prone after you're thrown or you fall. So that's the basics of how combat works. Very simple, streamlined. Character actions, again, I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera, but I'll show you anyway. You have the move, so you can move your character's movement. If you're prone, you can crawl for 2 inches. You can attack any eligible target. You can climb. You have to get a success on a dice, so that would be a success. You climbed up the dice bag there or whatever. You can go prone. You can stand up from prone, and then you're allowed to move 2 inches once you do. You can aim, so you can re-roll any missed attacks. You go into Overwatch, so if this is a building and he's here, he goes on Overwatch, and barbecue moves into his line of sight, he's allowed to take a free shot at him. Interact, so if this is a loot token or an objective marker, you just go over, you interact, he picks it up. Loot, you search a loot marker for new items, you just pick it up. Then there's a loot chart. You roll 2d6 to see which chart you're rolling on, and you roll 1d6 to see what item you get. We'll get to that when we get to the item things. You can use items like first aid, grenades, stuff like that. And you can use any abilities your character may have. Character groups and group makeup is easy but in depth at the same time. You start off with 300 resource points. This is your group sheet. You have your group name, resources, story points, your player name in case you're playing with other people, and the name of your character, the type of the character, melee, range, defense, HP, movement, items they have, and the traits they have, which is over here off camera. So we're just going to do these guys. We'll say we only have enough money for that. So we're going to make barbecue, or we'll make Lieutenant Falcon the leader, because, lieutenant. You just write down Lieutenant Falcon. We're going to make him a marksman. You have brawler, marksman, guard, scavenger, and medic. That is my 3D printer curing station. Each one has a leadership trait. Up close for brawler, targeted fire for marksman, protection for guard, keen eyes for scavengers, and life support for the medic. The medic also starts with quick heal, which allows you to add hit points back to your target while in battle. It says 1, but we changed that to 5 just because the hit points when we started were a lot lower than they are now. So Falcon is going to be a marksman. He's going to have melee of 2, ranged of 0, defense of 1, hit points of 10, and movement of 4. That costs 50, so we're down to 250 technically. He's going to be our leader, so he gets up close. Which characters within 5 inches of him can reroll any missed melee attacks. And he starts with a knife, which, like I said, does 1 damage and is quality 1. We're going to have barbecue. Oh wait, that was for brawler. Damn it. Okay, well, Falcon's going to be our brawler. And barbecue is going to be our marksman, which is fine. Melee of 0, ranged of 2, that's how many dice you get to roll. So him shooting his flamethrower, he gets 2 dice plus whatever the quality of the weapon is. Defense of 1, 10 hit points, and 4 movement. Again, it costs 50 bucks. He starts with a basic pistol, which is what we was using in our examples, so that's why I used them. So 1 quality, 1 damage, range of 9 inches. And if he was the leader, they'd get targeted fire, so everybody within 5 inches of him would be able to reroll any missed range attacks. But since we made Falcon the brawler, it's opposite. So then you'd write down, your group name. We'll go Joe. Resources, we have 200 left. Story points, we start with 0, and Mike is the player. You have your enemy types. You have criminal, mercenary, doctor, looter, fanatic, and sentry. Then you have character traits. We have a bunch of those: marksman, climbing automatically, CQC, numbers, weapon and item keywords here. So bleed, fast. If damage dealt, you may automatically attack again. Slow, defenders can attack or can reroll 1 dice when attacked with a slow weapon. Armor piercing, 2-handed, dual wield. So yeah, a lot of cool things like that. And you can buy character traits, like we can have extra things for those if we wanted to. But moving on to, the only thing, when enemies attack you, say both of these are enemies, on the enemy turn, they all move, and if they move into melee like this, they don't attack automatically like characters do. That's so they can get the outnumbered. That's what numbers don't matter, perk means, or trait means. It negates it. They get an extra die, so if Barbecue's the brawler, he gets 2 dice and he has a knife. He would also get another dice for his buddy, which would be 1. But still, if he could defend that with his 1 defense, which he doesn't, he'd get pushed back and hurt, and that guy wouldn't get to attack. If he wins, he pushes them both back. No matter what happens, melee, you're always separate at the end, so you don't have to worry about disengagement and shit like that. Now, if you're going to set up for a mission, missions and objectives, each successful mission grants you 30 resource points. If you fail, you get 5. There's 6 different types of missions right now. Kill all, which means you kill everybody. Hold the ground, so if this was a building or a hill or something, we'd be tasked with holding this from the enemy. There. Retrieve items, so we'll say the black dice is a special item. We have to get to it, interact with it, put it on Falcon's thing, and then he has to get off the map. Escort, so if this dude isn't a part of our team, we either have to get him across the map or into a building. Assault, you're attacking, so this would be the bad guys. They're set up in here, and you actually have to go in and attack their base. Intel, you're trying to find a story point, so this would be the intel you need. So you have to get in, find the intel, get out. Each mission comes with other objective markers that would be randomly spread about, and loot markers. So we'll say these two are objective and you have one loot. You get the loot, you get to run the loot table, you get the objective markers, you get 3 of them, you get a story point, and if you're doing the intel you get a story point if you get the objective. These give you the objective ones give you 15 resource points. You get 3 in one mission, you get a story point. Loot dice, or the loot token, will give you 5 resource points plus a roll on the loot table after, in the resolution phase. Mission setup, you roll to see what kind of mission you're doing. So we're doing kill all. Then mission setup, you have woods and jungle, open ground, residential, commercial, industrial, or base. So we're in the woods or jungle, so you put your trees and stuff down, either 3D or map, whatever. And that would be where you're fighting. Next you roll for types of enemies you encounter. So we would roll 1d6. A 2 is fanatics. So we have 2 characters. So for 1 to 3 you roll 1d6, see how many enemies are there, and add 2. There would be 5 of them for every 3 enemy characters. They get whatever they can have extra, so they'll have 4 looters, or 4 fanatics and 1 looter with them. You can use the character cards to write all that down. Side objectives are the loot markers and the objective tokens. You roll 1 for each of those, so black will be loot, white will be objective. So 1 loot, 6 objective markers. You can get 2 story points out of this. And then you're good to go. You put out your stuff where you think they should be, and you fight your mission until you kill them all, because that's what you're here for. The campaign, if you're playing through a whole campaign, you can choose to just go after Cobra Commander, an item, or a resource point total, or you can roll. So that would be rival. Rival is 1 to 3, and item is 4 or 5, and the resource one is 6, because I think it's the easiest. You can go to downtime, you can shop, you can visit a trader. There's 5 basic loot charts. And you can roll 1d6 to see what other charts he has available for you. There are traits that let you get even more. If you roll the same one twice, like you roll 6 and then 6, just re-roll the second one to get a different thing. You can recruit a new character, so if you have the money, you roll to see what type he is. If you roll 6, you didn't find anybody, you don't lose your money though. And if you have characters with the traits, you can roll for more, so it would be a 3 and a 4 you found, which would be Brawler, Marksman, Scavenger, and Doctor. So you found a Scavenger and a Doctor, and you can hire both of them if you have the money. Medical, any damage done to Falcon or Barbecue would have to they'd have to be healed. It costs 2 resource points to do that. You can increase any stat for 20 resource points. You can get a character trait for 30. Total HP is 10 resource for 1 HP. You can assign your items and stuff like that, and you can select a mission. Casualty resolution and the follow-up. You roll 1d6, a 6. On a 5 or 6 they are fine with 10 HP. On a roll 3 or 4 they have 5 HP, but they have to miss the next mission. And a 1 or a 2 he would have been dead. You can buy stuff from the trader with your resource points, hire new characters, increase stats, buy character traits, increase total HP. We'll get to almost to the items, and I'll show you how that works. Story point. To unlock Cobra Commander on the battlefield, you need 12 story points, and then you do whatever you roll for your mission, but he's guaranteed to be there. Now he comes with extra people, as explained in the mission section. We won't get into that. Retrieve the item, same thing. You need 12 story points, and then the item becomes, you do a retrieve item mission, and the item you're supposed to find for your campaign is that item. If you fell, but your your group isn't wiped out, you can actually rebuild your story points and keep going, so it doesn't have to end just because you died. You can also use story points to re-roll dice. So if you're fighting Cobra Commander and you're in combat with him, you know, that's your dice roll for the melee. He hit, you missed. You can be like, no, I'm re-rolling my die. And it just got worse. But then you can do it again and again and again until all your story points are gone. Okay, so the 5 basic charts, it has in stock for the trader on the first 5. You have items, armor, 2 melee, and 1 ranged thing. And then you have roll for extra in stock, and for loot you have ranged, melee, ranged, and ranged. So when you find loot, you roll 2d6. That would be a 6. So you'd get range chart 1. Then you roll another d6, and it's a 3. So you'd end up with a submachine gun, quality 2, damage 2, 10-inch range, dual wield, and automatic, and cost $25. Now when you come here for trader purposes, the first 5 are unlocked, and you roll 1 dice, and that would be melee chart 3, and you can buy stuff off of it too. So that's how looting and trader stuff goes. And we have an example of that, just explaining the group sheet. And then we have different enemies and groups, which we're going to do a bunch of these, but this is just the first one we had done. This is walkers, runners, exploders, the ram, the siren, and the tank. And special rival type is monstrosity. They're all zombies, undead. They can't use ranged weapons or any items or anything like that. They all have special little things: poisoned attacks, fervor, the exploder explodes, the siren's well for the siren, undead command for the monstrosity. So yeah, I think we have it set up pretty decent. That goes over everything. Like I said, it's a very streamlined, easy to play game with a lot of nuance to it, with how you can build your characters, hire new characters, people can die. You can unlock the rival and lose that battle. So hopefully this helps with the basics. We're going to start a few campaigns here soon. I have a couple different ideas. I don't know if I'm going to do a G.I. Joe thing, because you can see the Terror Drum in the background there. And obviously I'm using G.I. Joe proxies here. But I also have Walking Dead, Zombicide, and just a bunch of other stuff that I have printed and bought. So look out for those. They shouldn't be too long in the future. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, leave me some comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.